Hello, everyone. Hi, good morning. So, today I'm going to be doing this live with Phillipa Butler, and she is a certified physiotherapist, and she's a certified yoga and Pilates teacher. And she has done that for almost all her lifetime for the last 15 years. And now she has her own online brand called Precision, in which she actually teaches people all the online classes about yoga and Pilates. And also she does a lot of educational workshop, and she also does one-to-one private teaching. And I am so excited to basically bring her in here at my platform and discuss with her all about exercise, all about fitness, all about movement, and how she conducts those workshops that actually train people to basically do the particular exercises to improve their pain and also improve their performance. So I'm excited, and I'm looking forward to have Phillipa here. Let's see where she is. And we're also going to talk a lot about the physiology of the fitness and the movement and yoga and meditation. So here is Phillipa. I'm going to just send the request. Hey, Phillipa, how are you? So good to have you here.
Well, thank you so much. It's a wonderful day here. I know it's very early for you.
It is a beautiful day, and I am super excited to basically start my discussion with you. And now it's perfect. Now our screen is perfect. Yes, glad to meet you digitally on LinkedIn. And I had been always wanting to talk to you what your practice does and how you teach people online. And I know you have tons of experience in physiotherapy and yoga and Pilates teacher, and I'm very excited to talk to you about that. So Phillipa, tell my audience and tell us about what you do, what your practice teach, and how you help people for their movements and exercise.
Oh, well, as a physiotherapist, and that's all I've ever done since I was 21 years of age, I've always worked with the body, and I'm a musculoskeletal specialist. So that means that I work with people who have problems with their arms, legs, necks, and backs. That's what I usually say. And exercise has always been a feature of that work that I've done. And over the years, I've just grown to, I've always exercised for my own health regularly throughout the whole of my life. And I just love sharing that with people, the power of movement to heal the body and the mind, and so that's what I do. And now the ability to reach people all over the world, I just love this digital platform that we can empower people to take their health into their own hands and really take control through exercise.
This is amazing. Such beautiful words and such a beautiful explanation of what you do. Amazing. Awesome. Awesome. Okay, let's begin. Phillipa, I know since your specialty is mostly in yoga and meditation, let's begin with yoga. I mean, that's such a favorite topic of mine, and I love doing that. So tell us, Phillipa, what are the different yoga practices that you teach, and how these basically impact you physically and mentally? I mean, these are the practices that we've been following from ancient time, So what are the physical and mental benefits of these practices?
Well, the physical benefits are, often people think of yoga as something that they do to gain flexibility. But, and if that's important, of course, but actually, strength is a really important part of yoga. Some of the postures, require a whole lot of particularly upper body strength, and I know that's something that women particularly can struggle with moving through life, as I am now in midlife. And so, by using movements, postures, positions to strengthen the body, we actually create resilience in tissues. And so resilient tissues are much less likely to injure in actual fact. And so we can guard against injury. And but you know, for me, the mental benefits is part of the reason that I came to yoga myself. You know, and that is the ability for the movements to really uplift us, to create a shift in the central nervous system. And you know, what's fascinating, as you say, is this is you know, an ancient wisdom. It's been around for centuries, and it's really only now that modern science is starting to understand the benefits on the, particularly on the psyche. And so I love that, you know, because they've been doing it for so long, and now we're actually scientifically proving that this really does work.
Yeah. So yoga, by definition, is something. It's more like a union of breath work and movement, right?
Mm.
So when we say breath work, and I do hear all the teachers, they actually, you know, they have the cues like, you know, deep inhale and deep exhale. So tell us, what is the physiology when we do all those deep inhales and exhales? How does that affect on the stress? How does that affect on our mental? How does that helps to combat the stress level? What is the physiology?
I mean, we're accessing the parasympathetic nervous system with the breath,
Yes.
essentially. You know, I mean, I know you know this. The fight or flight is our stress system. That,
Yes.
you know, modern life is just sending us into a complete spin these days. That we're on, you know, and particularly low levels of stress over prolonged periods of time has, you know, really detrimental effects on the body and the mind. And so the link, undoubtedly, by slowing the breath, by taking deeper breaths. And, you know, sometimes I'm a bit reluctant to talk about taking deep breaths, because what we really want is a slow, full breath.
Okay.
Because we really want to access the diaphragm and get the breath all the way down to the bases of the lungs. The parasympathetic nerve system will then be brought into play. You know, the shallow respiration is what causes can fuel, in actual fact, the stress mechanism. And it's this spiraling circle of shallow breathing, stress, shallow breathing. And
Mhm.
so with a slower, deeper breath, we can interrupt that cycle. You know what I mean? There are a lot of different there's a lot of different practices out there. You know, anybody with access to the internet knows
Yeah.
that there's lots of different things we could do. And actually, you know, it's surprisingly common for people to have disturbed breathing, uh,
Yeah.
you know, disrupted
Mhm.
patterns of breathing. And really, we don't even know this is happening to us. This is the thing.
Right.
So initially, it's really important that you embark on breath practices or breath work from the beginning, and
Mhm.
with a really simple practice where we first of all just bring the attention, bring the focus to the breath, and notice, you know, exactly what is happening when we are breathing. And definitely breathing through the nostrils is much more likely to access the diaphragm, and the diaphragm then drawing the air to the bases of the lungs. And so, you know, this breathing in and in through the nostrils particularly accesses the diaphragm. We take a deeper, fuller breath, but think of it as a slow, gentle, full breath. Then, of course, invariably the exhale will follow.
Yeah.
And then patterns can, you know, you might count to a count of 3, you might count to a count of 4, and over a period of time practicing, you will increase invariably the length of time that you are able to sustain the inhale and the exhale. And then, you know, we introduce holds, and there's a whole variety. I mean, gosh, there's so many different things we can do with the breath, but do start at the very beginning and bring the awareness to the breath for a deeper, fuller, diaphragmatic breath, and that will have the most health benefits.
Yeah, that's amazing. These are such impeccable these are beautiful words that I couldn't have thought of a better way to put this whole concept in the words, because the science is that, when you are basically breathing deeper, so you are taking the breath level all the way to the diaphragm, and in the diaphragm there's a nerve called vagus nerve. So you're stimulating this nerve, and when the vagus nerve is stimulated, your parasympathetic nervous system is stimulated, that is active. And basically by activating the parasympathetic nervous system, you're basically bringing the calm, and basically bringing the whole body into the phase of relaxation. So you're bringing that calmness, and your stress level is definitely lower at that time, because your heart rate decrease, your pupil start to relax, they are not constricted, you are not in the flight or fight mode, you're very calm and relaxed, your blood sugar is down, your heart rate and everything, so, and your breathing is easy and slow, so that's a whole state of calmness. Basically by doing all those diaphragmatic or deeper inhale and exhales, and that brings your whole body into the parasympathetic nervous system. So that's the physiological explanation of deep breathing, and I used to get confused because there are many yoga teachers, and everybody has style of teaching. Some people have different kind of count to the level of 4, count to the 4, and then and so there is no specific, and you explained it so well, Phillipa, because there is no specific count 1, 2, 3, 4. Basically, it's your practice that just deep inhale all the way, so you stimulate your diaphragm, and then exhale through. Inhale through the nose and exhale through the mouth. So that's beautiful. I love that, and I'm never going to forget that there's just no simple counting 1, 2, 3, 4. Just do the maximum as much as you can do. It depends on your body, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Perfect. Yeah, that's beautiful. And I know, Phillipa, so that was more like the mental or emotional aspect of yoga. So how about physical? I hear from teachers, there are different cues, when they tell you to bring your body into alignment with your base, and neck in line with spine, and stack your joints, all those 3 very particular cues that they tell us. So when you basically bring your body into that physical state, in that particular posture, what is the meaning? How does that help actually? How is that helping your body physically? How's yoga helping your body?
Well, I mean, I think it's definitely appropriate for us to strive towards, an upright posture as much as we possibly can. That definitely facilitates the breath. So that's, when the spinal column is upright, we're giving the diaphragm its best opportunity to do the work that we were just talking about. And also, if you think about the traditional wisdoms, the talk of energy flowing through the body, we open the channels to allow this energy to flow. And, maybe we can't see it and measure it just now, but I'm pretty sure that eventually one day we will be able to. And so, the most important thing from my perspective is that we are teaching people to improve their connectivity with their own body. Get out of your head, get into your body, and increase what we call kinesthetic awareness. And that is really just the position of your body in space. So we become, quite unaware actually of where we are positioned in space in relative to gravity, relative to objects, And so we go about our days mindlessly, and the less we consider what the body is doing, the more likely it is that we are resting on inert structures like ligaments and joint capsules, and this can lead to overuse or type injuries and wear and tear on joints when they're being overloaded. So by bringing awareness into the body, into the working muscles, developing an active posture rather than where we're just hanging on our ligaments, then we're reducing the stresses and strains that we place on our bodies. And so there's lots of cues that we could use. I particularly like visualization, a sense of and I like to talk about the energy flowing through the body, because I think when the muscles are active, we do feel that sort of energy, the muscles are engaging. And so a sense of lengthening through the spinal column, you know, visualizing a balloon filled with helium, for instance, drawing you up. It's almost impossible not to stand up straight if you think of that.
Right.
And of course, you know, we can't really touch people at the moment to give them tactile cues, but, you know, lots of different cues as well is the other thing that I think, because, you know, different things speak to different people. And so, you know, let's suggest a melting, maybe, suggest an energy, use a variety, and then hopefully what we facilitate is appropriate muscle activation, because you know, we're inclined active in certain muscles. You know, I'm pointing at the upper fibers of trapezius, which are common culprits, and underactive in other muscles. And so what we want is for each muscle to be playing its part, working at the appropriate level. And that, you know, that is influenced by what position we're in. So, so yeah, let's turn on those muscles at the appropriate level, at the appropriate moment, because you never know when you might need them next.
Yeah. I completely agree with that, you know, because it's so important to sometimes follow these cues, you know, especially physically, because your body has tendency to just fall off to any unregulated posture. So it's just very important that to listen to the cues that your yoga teacher is telling you, because, and other than that, I think these physical stacking of your joints and your bones and your muscles and tissues in the right way, it's so important, because I think it's a discipline. And when you teach your discipline, you're bringing more awareness to the movements that you're going to follow, right? And when you're bringing awareness, it brings a lot of grounding in your lifestyle practice. So you are grounded basically in your life, right? And that brings the calm and the state of easiness, you know, relaxation. So I think these are definitely very, very important cues, you know. And I mean, I'm trying to just relate all that you're talking. I'm trying to relate them to medical and you know, science, and how do they help. It's completely justifiable. Everything that we speak here in the cues, and we speak and hear, you know, when we go for the yoga, what we hear from our teacher, every single word makes sense, right?
Yeah. And I mean, I think what you say, the, you know, overactivity is as bad as underactivity. So it's seeking that optimal level, and actually for movement to feel free and easy. Yeah. So that this is something that sometimes we just have to be guided towards that sensation, because you can disconnect it from how that feels. And so to reconnect and really get deep into connecting the mind with the movements, as you said.
Yeah, no, that is awesome. And this was just very powerful explanation. I love that. Yeah. So, Philippa, let's talk about meditation. What kind of meditation practices do you teach, and how do they help us to calm us and bring the relaxation mode? And how? And I will talk to you about how meditation helps to basically treat a lot of mental diseases and disorders, or any commotion that we have in our life, you know. So let's hear from you. What kind of meditation practices do you teach?
Well, I have lots of commotion in my life, I can tell you that for certain. Definitely. So, you know, I am relatively new to teaching meditation. It is something that I practice for my own benefit. You know, as I say, I do a lot of commotion. And but for me, I think it's really about introducing people to opportunities to try different things, because, you know, one thing will not work for everybody. And so
meditation, right? So we were talking how meditation helps us, what are the different practices, and how does it help to improve our brain functioning. So you were telling us about that. Let's talk about it. Yes.
Well, you know, like I said, to offer a variety of approaches, because different people will resonate with different approaches. You know, mantra is something that I quite like for myself, but not everybody feels comfortable chanting a mantra.
Yes.
And so they might prefer a more guided approach, visualizing a beautiful scene like the beach or the mountain or the seaside. And you know, but the goal is always the same: to concentrate the mind to one point. And so I like the analogy of a laser beam versus a light bulb, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And so meditation takes us to this one pointed focus. And you know, and so learning to concentrate the mind on this single point of focus, and sometimes we can use a visual image like a candle flame literally to focus on. You know, and learning to concentrate the mind helps to organize the mind and bring us to this progressively deeper state of peace, harmony, and you know, it grows our inner strength. So the fluctuations of the conscious mind, you know, are constant. We are
Right.
constantly bombarded with technology and inputs, and so we move below the fluctuating level of the mind into this deeper center. And you know, and I know that you are going to talk all about the science around that.
Yeah, I mean, I think meditation is a powerful tool, to basically repair the mind. So
Mm,
basically, a mind, and I'm going to talk to you about the research. You know, there's tons of research that can actually support. There's a lot of data that supports about that. So the brain, the human brain, is a neuroplastic. It's an organ, right? And it
mm,
has a
mm,
tendency to self-repair. And
mm,
according to all the research and according to the data, it's been substantially proven that, by actually following the practices like meditation, you actually increase the activity of your brain functioning, because the
mm,
old cells, the old synapses, the old neurons in the brain cells and the new synapses that it forms, they actually go and unite with each other. There's a junction, and that
mm,
junction is activated. So old synapses, when they combine with the new synapses in the brain, so that helps for the brain self-repair. And brain
mm,
always needs to be repairing itself,
mm,
in
mm.
order to be doing all the mental activities and all that,
Yeah, yeah.
in order to meet with all that level. And so yeah, for the optimal brain functioning,
Mm,
you do need the practices like meditation and enough sleep.
mm,
These are the two tools that are optimally used, in order to increase the brain functioning. And the data is, I mean, there's a lot of research, and the recent research was from the University of Wisconsin at Madison, UWM. And what they
right.
did was that they did take some of the subjects, some people, and they actually have them in the meditation practice, and then they try to actually capture the EEG, the electroencephalogram, the brain waves, and through the instrument, through the EEG capturing instrument. And when they did capture the EEG, then they realized that there was sudden increase in the gamma waves. The gamma
Mm,
waves actually, what they indicate is the superhuman level of awareness, superhuman level of compassion, and the concentration. So
mm,
when they actually they did this experiment, the UWM, the University of Wisconsin at Madison,
mm,
their labs. When they did this experiment, they actually had all the subjects of different varying range, uh, from the initial beginner yogis or the
mm.
meditators to the
Right.
world class yogis, and they found this results that, there has been abundance of brain function. I mean, there has been a lot of the substantial increase, improvement in the brain functioning,
Mm,
and the gamma level, the gamma waves were increased in these world-class yogis. When they tried to capture that, there was
yeah.
a there was tremendous, and there was a substantial improvement in their brain functioning. And I know, so I mean, data actually shows all that, but also, I mean, I'm not a neurologist, I'm not a neuroscientist, but I know that there are facilities and there are clinics, where the clinician, the doctors who are actually treating the patients, they actually try to get the EEG levels, the EEG waves, and they try, and then they treat their patients of depression, anxiety,
Mm, yeah, yeah.
any mental trauma, or war trauma or post-traumatic trauma, or people who have like, epilepsy or addiction. All those patients, they treat their patients after they actually they monitor the EEG waves, and they treat the patients accordingly. And then I know, I mean, that is at the clinic level or the medical level. But
Yeah.
nowadays, I think there's an amazing app called Muse, Muse, and what it does is it's a great meditation app actually. So what it does is that basically, when you're sitting to meditate, you put this headband on your head, and it has a sensor to capture your EEG, the brain waves, electroencephalogram waves, and it captures your EEG, and then it converts those EEG waves into the audible, and then and that audible sound is sent back to your head in order to tell you that, are you in stress while doing meditation, or is meditation helping you to relax and bring the calm? So basically, that's a great app, and it's I know a lot of meditators, they do have this app because they like to know if they are doing meditation, how does it help them, and they can actually, they can improve their meditation practice with the help of this app. So this, I mean, I know all these ancient practices, we follow them, and but they have the strong back of the medicine, and science behind them. So yeah, and I know,
I
Philippa,
mean,
you do. Yes. Yes, go ahead. I'm
no,
listening.
well, I think, the biofeedback and the metrics are really important, to evidence the changes that
Yes.
occur, and anything that allows us to analyze our experiences so that we can set it into context, make it
Yes.
so for, the monks were definitely onto something. The challenge is now to bring this into our modern lives. And so these tools are really fantastic tools to harness the technology. Let's harness the power of modern technology and put it together with these ancient wisdoms. Why not do that? Because we don't all have this opportunity to disappear off to the ashram for 2 weeks at a time. And so, build a habit, a daily habit. 10 to 15 minutes every day is would be adequate to give us the
Yes.
sense of, of making our lives and gaining the health benefits. That we're not going to be monks meditating for hours on end, but, with just 10 or 15 minutes a day, it could be transformative.
Yeah. No, that is a very substantial tool. It's a powerful tool to help us physically and mentally. And what else do we need more nowadays? I mean, we need to have that calm and relaxed mind. So so that was about meditation. I mean, I'm loving chatting with you about yoga and meditation and all those practices. So Philippa, I know you do deal with a lot of clients, and especially your clients are more than 40 years of age, women. And I also have clients who are particularly in that age, and I know that most of their time, their question and their struggle is that they are either in perimenopausal, menopausal, or postmenopausal states. And because of all that hormone commotion and then decrease in the hormone levels, that brings so much of their struggle with osteoporosis and the bone loss and the muscle loss. What do you suggest that how do you deal with that kind of scenario? What is your take for the clients who are more than 40 years of age, women?
Well, I mean, there's no doubt that levels of estrogen are affecting the bony structures and also decreasing muscle mass. My approach is that the more we can do to be active, particularly in midlife, the gains actually will be as good if we start these things in midlife as they would be if we've been doing it all along. So this is, there's no time like the present is one of the things that I say to people. Maybe we're not gaining bone mass anymore, but what we're trying to do is to prevent the decline. And that is,
Yeah, absolutely. And so bone loading exercises, resistance type training, and that's beneficial on so many levels, but particularly loading bone and muscle, we can preserve the mass to a degree and of bone and muscle by
Yeah,
doing these resistance type exercises. And and I use all of these things, body weight resistance, dumbbell resistance, rubber bands. I mean, there's pretty
yes,
much nothing I can't do with a rubber band,
yeah,
actually.
yeah,
So,
yeah,
but one of the key things also that I work on with people is balance, because it's been shown that balance, in terms of a predictor for longevity, balance actually has the edge. And so I think if we can prevent falls, then we can actually give people a good quality of life for longer. And
yeah.
so working on balance, and there's, as a yoga teacher yourself, that there's lots of balancing in yoga.
Is a
Lots of,
yes,
yeah.
yes, yes. Yeah, and just like you always said, that teaching balance is like teaching discipline, teaching your body about the awareness of your movement and bringing that grounding to your life. That
Yes.
all an amalgamation of all that is what we teach in yoga. Your movements and your breath.
Yeah.
And no, and for women who are in that menopausal or perimenopausal, postmenopausal state, as you said, that teaching a lot of band exercise, the resistance exercise, and the weight, the weight training, and I think those two things work just like anything. I mean, they are just so profound, a lot of resistance training and the weight trainings. And I completely agree with that, because when you are training your clients about resistance or the rubber band training, all those band trainings and weight, they cannot be anything better than that in this age, because when you do that, basically you are teaching your muscle to go into the state of hormesis. Hormesis is a little bit of stress, and it's a theory. It's a theory, actually, that when you are bringing a little bit of stress on any part of your organ or any part of your body, so you're basically teaching your body to overcome that stress and to become even more powerful. So when you are doing all those muscle exercises, the resistance exercises, so basically what you're bringing on the table is more muscle strength. And same thing with the bone density. I mean, there's a lot of science and data that explain that the bone density increase when you do the weight training, the weight exercises.
Yeah. Yeah.
So basically, that's what I tell my. I mean, aging is inevitable. It is going to come. But when you train your body in order to overcome the bad effects of aging, as long as you can, so why not? So just do resistance training and weight exercise for my women clients, and especially who are struggling with this kind of situation.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, so that's about dealing with the age and the hormones and osteoporosis. And so Philippa, I know a lot of my clients, their very common question is, what are the fitness supplements? What are the daily supplements that you should be taking along with the exercise? And then there are some clients of mine who are in weight training and who do intense level of training, so for those I have different suggestion. So for my basic trainers, my people who are into the mild to moderate level of exercise, do you have any suggestion for any fitness supplements that they need to take? And after that, I will talk about what they need to do in
Yeah.
their daily
I mean,
life.
I'm not a nutritionist. It isn't my field of expertise, and so I tend to stick to what I know. And but I do know that tissues, if we are exercising, then the building blocks of tissue is protein, and so we need to be getting all the essential amino acids into the body. I do favor food first, and I think we're in the same camp on that one. The thing that a lot of people struggle with muscle cramps, and so particularly in middle life, it's something that comes upon us, and I think magnesium is something that can be beneficial for that. and vitamin C. I'm always a big fan of vitamin C for
Yeah.
tissue, and zinc. For immunity and healing, and but truthfully, a food first, and single ingredient approach to food. So processed food is not appearing in my cupboard. I
Yeah.
just don't let it in the house. If it's not in the house, I can't eat it, can I? So
Yeah. Yeah. Better to not eat than eating processed food, right?
yeah. Well, yeah,
Yeah.
that's right.
Yeah. No, I totally agree with your concept, because the foremost and the first most important thing is eating right. So my three fundamental is eating right, sleeping plenty, and then training well. So when you're eating well, sleeping well, training well, that's the utmost important thing that you can just do yourself, to your body.
Yeah.
Um, and for the supplements, I think magnesium, just like you said, Philippa, is such an important electrolyte. It's an important mineral, basically, and this is definitely needed for tissue repair, the muscle repair particularly. So, and people who are actually who have deficiency of magnesium, they do suffer from muscle cramp, and they are going through intense level of training or exercise, and if they are not basically supplementing themselves with magnesium, that's a problem. So so my basic 5 fundamental supplements would be multivitamin, because that you require for your basic cellular energy, for your metabolism, right? Second is magnesium, that you require for your muscle tissue repair. If you're going through all the exercise and if you're not repairing your muscles, that's not right. So basically you're causing more stress on your muscle. So you need magnesium for your muscle repair. And then you need vitamin D. You need vitamin D for optimal bone functioning and for immunity improvement. For your immunity function, you definitely need vitamin D. And then I also recommend people omega-3 fatty acids, so some kind of fish liver oil or cod liver oil. So definitely good source of omega-3 fatty acid, because that is required for overall health and wellness. And then my last 5th one is the gut health, the digestive health is so important, because that's the main frame, right? If your digestion is not right, so whatever you're eating, if it doesn't even make sense functionally, then why to even eat, right? So your gut needs to be perfect. So your gut health and digestion needs to be optimal. And in order to do that, my go-to supplement is the probiotic, right? And also the digestive enzymes. So they help to basically maintain and optimize the gut health and digestion. So, these are some of the 5 basic supplements that I tell my regular clients to, follow these practices in their daily, because first of all, eat well. Eat whole food with tons of macronutrients, with plenty of macronutrients, and good and healthy fats, good quality protein, and good carbohydrates. All right. And then micronutrients, you acquire from all these 5 supplements which I just mentioned. So this is the basic mainframe of overall health and wellness. And then there are some of my clients who are athletes and who go through the intense program. Some of them are players, and all those kind of intense workout people. For them, I definitely recommend taking taking the protein, because protein is the abundant molecule in your skin, in your tissues, in your organs, everywhere in the body. So you need to supplement with protein, good quality protein. And I can talk a lot about protein, because people have a lot of controversial points, that what kind of protein, animal protein, vegetarian source of protein, and how much protein. I can talk a lot, but today maybe that's not the topic that we are discussing. So protein definitely. And then my second go-to supplement is creatinine, because creatinine is needed for ATP production, for your cellular energy. And that's why I definitely, for my people who go through performance exercise, I tell them to actually supplement with creatinine. And then definitely BCAA, which is a branch chain amino acid. So because amino acid is again the building block, right, for all the muscles and for all the tissues and all the cells in your body. So branches amino acids are they are leucine, isoleucine, and valine, these three amino acids, and they are so required in the body because, first of all, your body do not produce them in the body. Your body do not produce them, so you and that's why they are called essential amino acids, because then you need to eat, you need to actually acquire all these amino acids either through your diet and also supplements. And then in your diet, basically the food like egg and dairy and meat, tofu, all that is a good source of branching amino acid. But on top of that, the performance, the people who are who actually are going through intensive workout or performance exercise, definitely they need branched-chain amino acid to supplement for their muscle recovery. So that's my go-to supplements for basic level of training, and then for the people who go through the intensive training of fitness or exercise. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I have a son who's very into resistance training. I hesitate to call it bodybuilding, but he's the one who was just ringing the doorbell, and he keeps saying to me about supplements, you know, for his muscle building capacity. And so this is very useful information. I shall pass it along.
This is, and we can talk about more based on, this is a very specific topic in itself, you know. We can talk later about it. And I know we are around about pretty much to the time that we needed to have our discussion, and then I'm going to let you go, Phillipa. But because I know there's a lot of time, there's like 8 hours difference, the time difference in between your time zone and mine. Yes. So this has been amazing conversation, beautiful. You know, very impressive discussion, and I like it, and I hope this will be useful to many people who have joined and listening to us. And Phillipa, it was an honor. I'm very glad to have you here, and thank you very much for sharing your insight all about physical movements and exercise and yoga and meditation. I've learned a lot. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. I really appreciate the opportunity to come and have a chat with you and learn from you all also, because the more that we can work together to share the information with people, the better. And so thank you to you too, and have a